Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Shunde Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachayani Nirvishesh Shanavani Paschatya Vishitani Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
It's the first time for me to be here and to be speaking to all of you and be in the association of all of you. I feel very honored and grateful. How it came to be that I'm actually sitting here is that about 3 years ago, some of you may know Shatarupa Mataji. She is actually a product of St. Louis. So 3 years ago, she gave me a call on a, Saturday afternoon. She said, Prabhu, can you come and do the Sunday feast talk at Naperville? I said, Mataji, I don't know if you know, but I live in St. Louis. So she said, I know, but still. And I said, well, how about this? When I do come to Naperville sometime for some service, then I'll let you know. I said, okay, fine. So when she heard that we moved to Chicago, she said, oh, how are you coming? So I said, I promised 3 years ago, and I have to keep my word. At least that's how we're taught, to keep my word. So I tried to keep my word, and so I'm here today. Grace Premananda Mataji was saying how she considers me her godbrother, but I consider her my mother-in-law. Her relationship with my wife is like that. She somehow, my wife and I have a very close relationship. And she says, she Radhika like my daughter, And somehow I'm on the edge. So I see as mother-in-law. There's another nice Vaishnavi Mataji, like Aruda Mataji, some of you may know her. She also considers my wife as a daughter, and she explicitly told me, you're like my son-in-law. So, for those of you who are struggling with one mother-in-law, I have 3. And the real one is coming in about a month to stay with us for a few months. But I feel very warm affection with a number of devotees and families here in Naperville, so I'm grateful to be here. Another family that's here, that's also from St. Louis, I can see it in the corner. So Balram Prasad Prabhu and his family used to live in St. Louis also, here in St. Naperville. And Meeta and Nilesh and Kartan Muni Prabhu, also from St. Louis, and moved to Naperville. So for those who may not know and wish to engage more pujaris, Kartan Muni Prabhu and his wife were used to serve in St. Louis as pujaris. So to the topic that I was going to present today is called the King and the Beggar, and I purposely left it ambiguous. Because what does a king becomes a beggar topic anyway. But I purposely left it ambiguous for the purposes of trying to gain, people to get attracted to the topic and want to be here. And I saw it work because as soon as Aarti finished, half the crowd left. I'm being sarcastic, right? Is that what happens every Sunday? As soon as Aarti finishes, half the crowd leaves?
Nowadays the kids go down.
Yeah, I know, but it's usually all the parents go with them too.
We hold the feast after.
What's that?
Feast is after the lectures.
Okay. So most of you don't know me, and those who know me may not know that I grew up in Africa, Nigeria. And at the age of 17, is Shagun here? Or she went down?
She's in the classroom.
Okay. So she told me she was 17. I remember when she was 10 years old, she said 17. 17, wow. When I was 17, I transitioned from Nigeria to Spain to continue my education and college. So it was an extremely valuable experience because the diversity with which I grew up in Spain in college was fascinating. I had a friend from Cameroon, a friend from Far East, a friend from East Europe, some from America, from India, and so forth. So it was very diverse, as you can guess. And one of my friends was a person from Zimbabwe in the South Africa area. And I'm a young 17-year-old guy from Nowheresville, Nigeria, and I saw how he would interact with people. And one of the persons he tried to have a relationship with was a Bulgarian girl, and he really liked the Bulgarian girl. You know how it is sometimes in your college. Maybe some of you do. Oh, most of you from Indian backgrounds, not everyone, but most. So maybe you all have pious backgrounds. You've not experienced college craziness, but he had this affection for this Bulgarian girl who was very pretty. I hope they never see this video. They're still friends of mine, by the way. And the Zimbabwean fellow was not so pretty. So, but he really liked her, and he tried to get her attention. And he tried again. And he tried again. And she kept saying, no. Rejection. Again, I don't know how many of you have experienced rejection before. It's not the most pleasant thing in this world, right? It's tough. Your pride becomes squashed. He got rejected. She said no. Got rejected again. No. After 3 months, I saw them together. The next day, she rejected him again. After 3 more months, they finally got together, and they were together for a few more months. But as a 17-year-old, can you guess what lesson I learned from that? Now this is interactive, by the way. Yes.
Persistence.
What? That's a nice word, but what's the lesson?
There is no happiness.
Keep trying.
Never
Keep
give up.
trying? Okay, yeah.
Never give up.
Never give up. Yeah.
No happiness in the trust and the friendship.
I can't keep speaking, sorry. Ah, yes.
Say, no happiness or trust in the friendship.
No happiness or trust in friendship. That's a nice lesson. That's not what I learned. What I learned was, if you're really determined about your cherished goal and you're willing to give up anything for that goal, you can actually get it. Because I put myself in those shoes. I mean, I wasn't necessarily trying to get anyway, but putting myself in his shoes, if I got rejected once, that's it, But to get rejected so many times, allow your false ego to get smashed over and over and over and over and over again, and still go for what you're cherishing. Boy, he had some determination, only to last for a few more months, right? Because it's material. That's material relationships there. So you're recovering from a throat infection, so I'll be coughing a lot as we go through. But kindly, Shyam Prabhu has given me some Vicks that I was sucking. So in this world, what are people determined about? What are some examples that people are determined about?
Money.
Money. People are determined to give their money, right? They have a fundraising. They just have a fun. That's what you say one word.
Get rich.
Get rich. Yeah. What else?
Fame.
Fame.
People love to get fame, and they're determined to get it, right? Can you give some examples?
Trump.
I don't think you can trump that example.
Smollett.
What's that?
His name's Smollett. Jesse Smollett.
I have no idea who that is. He's not that famous, I guess.
You gotta watch the news.
There you go. I don't know if you guys heard about the guy who, I'm sorry, I don't know if you wonderful devotees heard, sorry guys. I don't know if you wonderful devotees heard about the guy who went across the Antarctic by himself.
Yeah.
350 pounds on his back and tried to cross the Atlantic. He did it in like, what, 60 days or something like that? Determined. Almost lost his life. And his wife said, go on, keep doing this. And people just are so determined about things in this world, isn't it? We have how many people running for president now in 2020 elections? Determined. People are determined to have great careers. They're determined to have, to be moral, stick by values, stick by family principles, etc. Now, the Vedic tradition and our wonderful scriptures such as Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam tries to help to direct our human energy in something valuable, something really worth giving our life to. Like this Zimbabwean friend of mine who gave up his false ego and allowed to be crushed in such a deep way. He put his, fame on the line. And we only have a little bit of time. Human life is actually very short. I figure now I've only, assuming nothing catastrophic happens to my body in my life, I've already finished 50%. I'm going through midlife crisis right now because, what's next, right? How are we spending our time? It's very important. How many of you have a cell phone? All right, let's do a little, I know why you're laughing, I'm just asking. Now. How many of you know the corner icon, the bottom right corner icon on your smartphone? Do you know what icon it is? How many of you know? So about 20%. And you look at your phone how many times a day? Pick it up. Look at your icon and see if you were right. What's that? No, I'm just saying, look at your phone and see what icon is in the bottom right. See if you're right. And immediately put it back in your pocket. Please don't see or check your messages. I don't want to get distracted. I'm trying to make a point here. Hari. Thank you. Put it back. Okay. Now, all of you probably have different icons in your bottom right corner. Yes?
Yes.
One thing in common that you all have is on your front face of your phone, you have the clock. Yes?
Yes.
How many of you saw the clock? 1, 2, 3 out of 100 people here. Maybe 4. What time? You saw what time it was. You actually observe what time. So some are perceptive. But here's my point, is that we can only take in so much information. We're only aware of so little things in our life from moment to moment to moment to moment. So that's why Prahlad Maharaj explains, Kaumare Acharya Pragyo Dharman Bhavataniha Durlabam Manusham Janma Tat Apya Dhruvam Arthadam. This human form that we received is so important. Even though it's temporary, it can give us a lot of value. This human form is actually very valuable. Because it's Arthadam, it can give value. Because in this human form, Kaumara, when one is 5 years old, all the way up to whatever age we live, one should give energy to. Yeah. So there's a nice book called Nectar of Devotion. I don't know if any of you don't have it. If you don't have it, consider getting it. In the very beginning of Nectar Devotion, it explains that the goal of human life is to have is to develop and to have a very personal, loving relationship with our source, God, Krishna, the personality of God. That is what we're intended to, we have this human form, it's intended to re-establish, rejuvenate that very integral relationship with Krishna. Actually, we are all looking for Krishna. We're looking for Krishna through our, through our work, success. We're looking for Krishna in our families. We're looking for Krishna in even money. When people are searching after money, they're actually looking for Krishna. Because ultimately, why money? If you ask any question, the why, you keep asking progressively why, the answer is we want to be secure and we want to be happy. And it's only in our relation, according to the Bhagavad Gita, it's only in our relationship with God, with Krishna, do we really feel happy. Do we really feel secure? Right? So the Nectar Devotion explains that these 6 qualities are awakened as we start to develop our relationship with Krishna. The first one is Klesha Agni. Klesha means suffering. Agni means burnt, it gets destroyed. There's a lot of suffering out there. I mean, just last week, the Naperville, Aurora area had one of the most, newsworthy incidents that happened. Yes, suffering. Everyone's scared. Anything can happen to anyone at any time. I like to say that. Anything can happen to anyone at any time. Suffering is just part of this world. If you look at the news, anytime we do look at the news, isn't it? I mean, suffering. If you were to translate it to emotions, suffering, more suffering, a little more misery, astonishment, some suffering, and a little more suffering. That's how it is. Usually that's what they do. Once I saw on the news, as I read Google News pretty much every day, I take a little quick glance at it. Once I saw there was someone with brain tumor that all of a sudden got cured. And it's astonishment. How did that happen? And the doctors are surprised. Miracle of God. But other than that, news is suffering. So Klesha Agni, when one engages or one re-establishes one's relationship with Krishna, the kleshas start to reduce. The second symptom is Shubhada. Shubha means auspiciousness and Da means to give or to endow one with. Like Yashoda, the mother of Krishna, Yashaha means fame and Da is to give. So Yashoda, she gives glory and fame. So similarly, Shubhada, the process of devotional service, bhakti, or as we connect with our cherished, lovable person, Krishna, auspiciousness starts to brighten our life. One of the ways that auspiciousness gets infused into our life is we start to gain transcendental qualities. There's other reasons, other things that happen. But one of the main things is that we start to actually develop good qualities. Patience, tolerance, the ability to be austere, even-mindedness, the ability to forgive, etc. And it goes on. Happiness, the happiness that one experiences in the relationship with Krishna, you can't compare it with anything in this world. It's so powerful, it's so wonderful. Any happiness that you experience in this world is like experiencing the water in a hoofprint of a calf, as opposed to the ocean of happiness in relationship with Krishna. It's very rare, this kind of experience. It actually attracts Krishna. And people, one of the symptoms is that material life, Yuck. So these are the various symptoms and the benefits, you could say. And so the Vedas describe and they encourage us as human beings, as people who have a little bit of intelligence, or some of you maybe a lot, or at least for me is a little bit of intelligence, to take advantage and move forward, to be determined in our relationship with Krishna. So I wanted to share the story about a king who becomes a beggar. Why? Because of his determination, because of his intense desire and his concomitant humility. Just like how my Zimbabwean friend got smashed, we'll see how King Prataparudra, he gets rejected, but his determination doesn't stop. And then the mercy just floods his life. So we'll go through that narration. So before I launch, I just want to quickly ask, how many of you are familiar with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Okay, so there's some that are not. According to the Chaitanya Charitamrita, according to, actually not just Chaitanya, according to Srimad Bhagavatam and a variety of scriptures, Garuda Purana, some Upanishads, etc., there's a personality who came down to the material world about 500 years ago in the area of Bengal, West Bengal, Navadip area, and he was referred to as Shri Krishna Chaitanya, and he is considered, or he is known to be none other than Krishna. He's not even an incarnation of Krishna. He's actually Krishna himself. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a number of disciples, and he was staying in the holy land of Jagannath Puri, which is in Orissa, right by the sea. During that time, there was a king of Orissa. His name was Prataparudra, King Prataparudra, and he was a king not of just Puri, but also a stretch of land that went all the way down to even Chennai. And he had a conversation, or he invited a great sage by the name of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya to his palace. And he asked Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he said, I've heard that this wonderful saintly person has come to Puri, and he's just very special. I've heard he is very kind and merciful. And I've also heard that he was very kind with you, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And Bhattacharya said, yes, you're right. I would like to meet him. I would like to have an interview with him. Can you arrange it? And the Bhattacharya said, oh, he's a king. I'm sorry, you're a king. And he's a great renunciate. He's a mendicant. A mendicant doesn't meet kings. They don't spend their time with kings. They're completely aloof. He likes to be by him, solitary. He doesn't mix with people of this world. Those who are involved with worldly affairs and mundane affairs, he doesn't like to do that. In fact, it would destroy his fame. So King Prataparudra asked him, where is he now? He said, well, he's not, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, and even if I could make an arrangement for you, I can't, because he's not here. He's in South India, because Mahaprabhu had gone for a tour of South India. So he asked him, how did you allow him to go to South India? He says, it's not that I allowed him. I tried to stop him to go from South India. I tried to keep him here in Puri, but he's the personality of God. He's Ishvara, he's Swatantra, he's independent. I can't control him. Like you can control your friend and say, you're not going, give me your car keys, put it in the car, and put it in the pocket, and you're not going anywhere. He's a personality, I can't control him. completely independent. Prataparudra, his response to to this priest, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, said that you are Vidwan, you are the most learned and the most experienced person I know. I completely trust your words. And because you're saying that he is Krishna himself, Sakshat Sri Krishna, he said, you're saying that he's directly Sri Krishna, I accept. How many times, let's say a spiritual person may say a certain something to us, and we say, I accept it, and for the very next day we follow. That was the quality of the way Prataparudra heard from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. His faith was so strong, he trusted him. That trust was so strong that whatever came from him, he just accepted. Even to the degree of saying that this personality is God. Right? It's heavy. It's really heavy because if all of my sudden I say Vrindavan Prabhu is God. Imagine if I said, like, get out of here. Maybe he lives in Vrindavan fine, but he's not God. Right? Imagine, so he said, this person is God. He said, I accept. That was the degree of his faith. And then he said, okay, Prataparudra said, somehow, if you can somehow arrange a meeting, it will be very helpful for me. I'd like to see him just once, because then the perfection of my eyes can happen. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, I will inquire on your behalf. Now in the meantime, Mahaprabhu was touring South India and he visited a place called, where did he meet Ramananda Rai?
Godavari, near Godavari.
Kaur. Near the Kaveri River.
Godavari.
Oh, Godavari, that was Kaveri River. Okay. I'll take your word, you got that. Godavari River. So he met Ramananda Rai there. And Ramananda Rai was one of the governors of that area, specifically Chennai. And so he worked for the king. He worked for King Prataparudra. And during his tour, Mahaprabhu met Ramananda Rai. They had a very wonderful exchange. It was so warm, affectionate, transcendental. The conversation was very meaningful. It was totally spiritually based. And then finally, Mahaprabhu told Ramananda Rai, leave your government business. Just come and be with me in Puri and just spend time with me and let's just speak about Krishna. And so Ramananda Rai said, okay, I will try. And the Ramananda Rai then talked to his boss. Hey boss, can I get some PTO? Well, actually he said, can I leave and not be your governor anymore? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wishes me to do so. When King Prataparudra heard, oh, Mahaprabhu has asked for you to leave the government service and he wants to spend time with you. The king got off his throne, he went to Prataparudra, embraced him. He had ecstatic emotions erupt within his body and he said, go ahead. And then he said, and guess what? You get full salary. No need to work anymore. This is like nectar to the men and maybe to some ladies. You don't have to work anymore. And you get full salary. Wouldn't it be awesome? You need a boss like Prataparudra. Just got to find out. So, full salary for the rest of your life. So then Prataparudra and along with Ramananda Rai and rest of his associates, they went to Puri when Mahaprabhu had returned back to Puri. And Ramananda Rai went to Mahaprabhu and he said, I'm here, I've come on your order. And I got to tell you, that king, actually what happened is earlier when the king was speaking with Ramananda Rai, he said that you're so fortunate Mahaprabhu has invited you. I can't even get to see him. He will not see the king. Maybe my next life I'll get to see him. So then, Ramananda Rai, knowing how the king feels and how he wants to see, he is eager to see Mahaprabhu, he said, you know, that king, my goodness, he has so much love for you. Even I don't have so much love for you as he has for you. When he heard about my wanting to leave the kingdom, leave the government service and just be with him, he immediately allowed it. He's so kind. He's such a wonderful devotee. He didn't say you should see him. All he said, you should try to glorify him. So, and Mahaprabhu's response said, he said that because that king has shown love for you, I'm sure Krishna, and because you are a devotee of Krishna, I'm sure Krishna will give his mercy on Prataparudra. He didn't agree. He didn't immediately agree, but he was pleased with Prataparudra offering some service to someone he loves, that Krishna loves. You see? Prabhupada would say, you love me, you love my dog. If you really want to offer love to someone, if you love the person's dog, then it can be very effective. Now, some of us may not have dogs. Now, how do you build a relationship? With their children. That usually works. Right? And then Mahaprabhu went on to discuss, he gave 4 verses from the scriptures, Adi Brahma and others, that say that one who's a devotee of Krishna, who tries to be a devotee of Krishna, that's not a devotee. But one who tries to be a devotee or a servant, one who tries to serve, someone who's a devotee of Krishna, that's actually my devotee. So he was giving reason to Prataparudra of why he was saying that because the king is serving you, Ramananda Rai, because of that he's going to get Krishna's mercy. So, one of the first ways we get mercy as new people in the Krishna conscious movement is prasad. That's the first way we can receive Krishna light. But if we're for devotees who are cooking, who put in a lot of effort downstairs for so many hours, I didn't even see who they were, but hopefully I'll get some prasad. Let me know who they are. But because of devotees cooking and offering to Krishna, we get prasad of Krishna. Isn't it? Just simple. Just simple principle. That's on a more gross level. We can see it, we can feel it, we can actually taste it. And then on a more subtle level, if we want the pleasure of Krishna to descend upon us, the same principle applies. So then, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who promised Prataparudra, the king, that he would speak to Mahaprabhu. He went to Mahaprabhu and he said, this king, first he went to Mahaprabhu, he said, can I ask you something without being fearful? And Mahaprabhu said, oh yeah, sure you can. But if I like it, I'll accept it. If I don't like it, I will not accept. So, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, okay, there's this king, and he's really eager to meet with you. Mahaprabhu put his hands on his ears, he said, what are you saying? Me meet with the king? It's as good as drinking poison. It's like asking me to meet with a woman. Now, nothing wrong with women, but he is a renunciate, he's a sannyasi. He's supposed to be a monk. He can't interact with women. So for him, it's It's like drinking poison. And then he started quoting verses where he said, Nishkinchanasya Bhagavad Bhajanor Mukhasya. And he starts the verse. Those are Nishkinchanasya, those who are aspiring for crossing this material ocean of birth and death and suffering, trying to go beyond all of this to the transcendental realm, the Nishkinchanasya. For them, it's worse to meet with a woman or to meet with a king than drinking poison. Worse. Means better to drink poison. Because poison just kills your body. The other kills your consciousness or impacts your consciousness. It's more long lasting. And then Sarvabhauma says, but he's a great devotee. He's a king, but he's a great devotee. And then Mahaprabhu said, still, it's like, he may be a great devotee, but it's like, asking me to touch the form of a woman that's made of wood. It's equally damaging, equally impactful. Sarvabhauma, if you ask of this of me again, I'm going to leave Puri. Never ask of me of this again. Sarvabhauma got scared and he left. So later, Prataparudra, when he came back to Puri, he asked his priest, Bhattacharya, he said, what happened with Mahaprabhu? So he had to give him the bad news. Mahaprabhu said he doesn't want to see you because he won't see a king. The king, in response, he said, this merciful personality, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he will deliver the most sinful people like Jagai and Madai, which is another story. He's come down, he's Krishna himself who's come to give the mercy to everyone except this king. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to give up my life if I can't see him. I'm just going to give up my life. The priest looked at him, he was like, shocked. What kind of determination is this? How many times he's going to get rejected? Right? He really wants to develop his relationship with Mahaprabhu. It's something so valuable, so cherishable, so meaningful. So the king said, I can't have this. I'm going to leave the kingdom and I don't care what happens to the kingdom. Sarvabhauma Acharya said, okay, listen, because of your determination, your Dhridavrata, Krishna uses the word Dhridavrata, and Prabhupada explains in the purport that this Dhridavrata is what helps one to make advancement. Dhridavrata, determination to apply the principles of Krishna consciousness. Then one can cross over the ocean of material existence and not experience suffering anymore. And to experience love that we truly want. So he said, this determination is going to get you there. It's going to get you there. I have a plan. Rath Yatra is coming up. After Rath Yatra, Mahaprabhu is going to feel really tired and he's going to be in this internal mood of ecstatic emotion. He's going to go to the Gundicha garden. You go there, don't go dressed as a king. Dress up as a poor beggar and go and then you can receive his mercy and go take and touch his feet and massage his feet. King Prataparudra felt a little bit satisfied. He said, okay, I am going. So then, when you really want something, it's difficult to be patient. Have you noticed that? Especially with children. I have a young 5-year-old and he doesn't like to wait. Right? He doesn't like to wait. Papa, can I have those potato chips? No. Papa, can I have those potatoes? How about in 5 minutes? About 20 seconds later, Papa, can I have my spoon? You know, it's children. But that's because they want it. They verbally express it very quickly. We also feel like that. When you really, really want something, it's very difficult to be patient. So Prataparudra didn't wait for Rath Yatra. He sent a letter to the devotees. I'm skipping some parts of the pastime, but due to time. He sent a letter to the devotees, and he sent he sent a letter to Bhattacharya, his priest. He said, "Look, I'm going to quit my kingdom, and I'm going to become a mendicant. Please, why don't you devotees, all of you together, Mahaprabhu's associates, please somehow or the other convince Mahaprabhu to give me some audience." And so all the devotees were like, "Oh my God, the king is going to become a mendicant. What's going to happen to the kingdom?" So they they decided that they will go to Mahaprabhu and instead of asking directly, just glorify the king. Just speak wonderful things about him. And so as they approached Mahaprabhu, and so all the devotees there, so Mahaprabhu said, "Yes, what have you come for?" And they looked at each other and they couldn't say a word. Nobody said anything. Mahaprabhu said, "You must have come for some reason. What have you come for?" Then Lord Nityananda spoke up and he said, "We came because the king is going to become a mendicant. If you don't give him your audience, please give me audience." And Mahaprabhu said, This request you're asking of me, this is too much. Can you imagine what will happen to me? If I were to meet with the king, what are people going to say? How are people going to take it? Any of my own associates, like Damodar Pandit, will criticize me. How can I do this? But you know what? If Damodar Pandit, who criticizes me, says it's okay, then I'll meet the king. What do you think, Damodar Pandit? Damodar Pandit said, "My Lord, you're the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You're completely independent. You are very merciful. You will give your mercy to the king. That we know. And you don't need my permission." And so finally Nityananda thought of an idea. He said, Lord Nityananda said, "Mahaprabhu, can you at least give him your paraphernalia, something, maybe your outer garment, this outer garment, give it to him and he'll worship that and at least he'll feel close to you by that way." And then Mahaprabhu said, "Do whatever you like. You're all very learned people, you know what to do, you do whatever you like." He said, "All right." They took his outer garment from his servant and they sent it to Prataparudra, the king. The king received the garment with such humility and reverence and he worshipped it. It's called Tadiya. He worshipped it with such reverence. He felt like this is Mahaprabhu's mercy. Sometimes they do that with the deity paraphernalia. They have a fundraising event where the deity cloths are auctioned off and things like that because it's Tadiya, it's worship. You know? So then, Ramananda Rai again is persuaded to go talk to Mahaprabhu again. "Please, can you have an audience with the king? He cannot maintain his life without you." See, he keeps trying. He's not budging. But see what he's determined for. He's not determined to make some money. He's not determined to have a big family. He's not determined to be famous. He's not determined to have a great career. He's determined to have a loving relationship with Krishna. So wonderful. It's so inspiring. And he's ready to give up anything. His life, his kingdom, his false ego. He's completely humbled himself at this point to receive Mahaprabhu's mercy. So again, Ramananda Rai tries to persuade Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu says, "All right, send me his son." Because the son is the representative of the father. So I'll see the son and so then the father will see me that way. And so the son was sent, and the son was, you know, an 11-year-old boy or something like that. He had dark skin, lotus-like eyes, looked like, he was wearing a yellow dhoti, he looked like Krishna. And Mahaprabhu said, "You look like Krishna," and he embraced him. And the boy was ecstatic, Mahaprabhu was ecstatic, the boy started chanting and dancing and tears streaming from his eyes. He became so happy. And he sent the boy back home. The boy embraced his father, and the father felt ecstatic like he was embracing Mahaprabhu. Still not good enough. He wanted to be with Mahaprabhu. Then the day of Rath Yatra came. All along, a section that I skipped was how much the king, this is also very beautiful, that despite being rejected by Mahaprabhu so many times, and his determination to be with him and to serve him and to love him stayed, and his service to the devotees continued. He never felt indignant. He didn't even feel, you know what, if I'm being rejected, guess what? I reject you. Or I'm not going to serve. He actually continued serving the devotees. He arranged for accommodations. Because Mahaprabhu wanted to meet Ramananda Rai in Puri, right? He gave Ramananda Rai the full salary because Mahaprabhu wanted it. And this is the person who rejected him. Right? And he kept serving the devotees. And Rath Yatra day, he arranged for Mahaprabhu, for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the other devotees to go take darshan of the Banu Vijaya festival, which is the festival where the deity, the Jagannath deity, is carried from the altar and brought into the cart before the cart begins. And so he made special arrangement for all of them. He kept serving, he kept serving, he kept serving, and he was determined, I want my relationship. Like that. He swept the floor, the king swept the floor, or swept the road before the Jagannath deities. And Mahaprabhu saw that. And then he also dropped scented sandalwood water on the road. And so when Mahaprabhu saw that, the Chaitanya Charitamrita describes 8 times, it says, because Mahaprabhu saw his humble service to Lord Jagannath, he decided, I'm going to give him my mercy. That was a powerful deciding factor. The fact that he took up some humble service. Made by that mercy, King Prataparudra was able to see Mahaprabhu doing mystical things, like he had 7 kirtan parties around Jagannath cart, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu simultaneously presented himself in all 7 kirtan parties, dancing with the devotees. Just like Krishna in Rasa Leela, when he was dancing with the gopis, Krishna multiplied himself and had, every gopi had a Krishna partner, dance partner. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to have my dance. Everybody had a dance partner, and including the kirtan party, all of them felt like, wow, Mahaprabhu is spending all day with us. This is nice. That was, he was able to see that. The king was able to see that because of the mercy he received. It didn't stop there. One time, Mahaprabhu, ecstatic while he was dancing, he fell down to the ground. The king was right there, so he tried to pick up Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu gained external consciousness. He sees who it is. It's the king. Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Mahaprabhu's response was, Chi-chi! He actually said, you dirty, you're a Vishayi, you're a materialist, you're a king. Don't touch me. Can you imagine somebody says that he's the king? He just felt scared. And he's like, oh my God, I disturbed Mahaprabhu. He was humble. Another time during Rath Yatra, I'll skip that story. But he was just very humble. And then Rath Yatra ended. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya told the king, don't worry, Mahaprabhu said Chi-chi. But he's only doing that to teach others not to associate with materialists, to associate only with spirituals. But he actually loves you very much, and he's going to show you his mercy. So he got pacified. Then, at the end of Rath Yatra, Mahaprabhu went to the garden. He was tired, laying on a raised platform. He was in an internal mood of ecstasy. And then the king changed his garments. He went in simple cloth as a beggar. And he first offered his pranams and his obeisances to all the devotees who arranged, who helped him so far, who made it possible for him to be with God, to be with Krishna. And he just went to the feet of Mahaprabhu and started to massage his feet. And he started to chant. Verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam. There's a section in the Bhagavatam that describes the Rasa Leela section, where Krishna is dancing with the gopis. And there's one section that's when Krishna leaves the gopis, and the gopis are trying to find Krishna in separation from him, they start to sing. There's 19 beautiful verses called the Gopi Gita, and those 19 verses, he started to speak. He started to sing them to Mahaprabhu. Jayate te dikam, so forth. And he got to the 9th verse, which says, Tava katamritam tapta jivanam kavibiriditam kalmashapam shravanamangalam Shrimadattatam bhuviginantiye bhuridajana. These Gopi Geet verses, this is just a little Sanskrit appreciation. They have alliteration. So, Tava Kathamritam Taptaji. So the first two, the first and the 7th syllable, I believe, are both the same. Ta, ta. Then ka, ka, then sha, sha, and then ba, ba. And then another one is that the 2nd syllable is all same for all of them. Tava, katamritam, then, what's the next one? What's the next line? Tava katamritam, tapta jivanam, kavi, kavva. So, tava, kavi, kavi, va. So you see the 2nd syllable is all the same. And it's like that for all the verses, all 19 verses. So there's beautiful poetry there. Mahaprabhu, when he heard that verse, I'll tell you the meaning. When he heard that verse, he got so excited, he sat up, embraced, he actually embraced the king. The person he said chi chi to just a few hours earlier. And the king was teared up, he was trembling, he was crying. Mahaprabhu was trembling and crying. And he kept saying, Burida, Burida, you're so kind. Because what the verse says, Tava kathamritam, the gopis are speaking to Krishna, they say, your katha, your pastimes, your words about you, tapta jivanam, it extinguishes the suffering of the humanity. Kavibir iditam, and those who are very learned, they profess this Krishna Katha. And it's karma shapaham, it destroys sinful activities or sinful reactions. Shravana mangalam, it brings all auspiciousness by hearing. Srimad Atatam, it's full of spiritual power. Then Bhuvi Grinantiye Bhuridajana, and those who are Bhurida, very merciful, they go all over the world speaking your Krishna Katha. So he was the king, Mahaprabhu was telling the king, you are Bhurida, you are the merciful person to speak this Krishna Katha to me, I embrace you. Bhurida, who are you? Who are you? He pretended like he didn't know him. And why are you being so kind to me? And the king said, oh, I am the king, by the way. No, he didn't say. He said, I am the servant of your servants. Please engage me in your service. So, things in this world don't come easy. Material life, not easy. Spiritual life also is not easy. But we should be determined about something. We should be determined about our relationship with Krishna. And our acharyas describe, we may not see Krishna, we may not have the opportunity to massage Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, but we have the opportunity to massage the lotus feet of Namaprabhu, meaning the holy name of Krishna. So this practice of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra that we can do as a personal exercise is our attempt at being determined to massage the lotus feet of God. And maybe we might feel some embrace. It's not easy. We're going to feel like, oh, where is Krishna? No reciprocation. Or we might internally feel challenges. Externally might experience challenges. But that determination should be there to connect with the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So this determination to be with Him through His holy name, determination to be with Him through these books. So for those who may not know, these books called Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Her Grace Leeleshwari Mataji has arranged that these books are there in the book table. So I highly recommend, if you want to learn more about things like determination and growth in spirituality, please get a copy of this or the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is another beautiful literature from which I had narrated this past time. Okay, I think that's it. Sorry, I didn't keep to time very well. Hare Krishna. So I don't think we have time for questions, right?
Maybe one question.
One question. Anyone have any questions or comments or concerns?
No concerns.
Okay. Thank you all very much for humoring me. Appreciate being with you today. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Yaman and Jana Prabhu. Please give a big hand. We're so very happy to have you here. And since you have moved to Chicago, then we hope to see you quite often. And Sri Ram get to many universities. Yes, please come and give a class.
Children's class.
Children's class. I guess it's very effective when we give children's class to adults.
I know that's an insult or what?
Thank you. It has been quite some time since we spoke anything at all about our temple construction. You must be wondering why there is no talk happening here. Thank you all for being here. So as you have, this is a very quick update. You can see that we have almost 90% of our site work is done last year, and the remaining part will be getting done once the springtime comes. You will see the landscaping and the BMP areas, best management practice areas, which are being developed here, and it will become a real beautiful place. Already we are making use of the facility very nicely. By Krishna's grace, we are able to have all this, and we are all very, very grateful for all of you who have supported this project. And the question is now, what are we going to do about the temple? I have heard this question coming up, when is this temple coming up? So this is just a very quick update. We are very systematically and diligently working. Shyam Prabhu, as always, very, very methodically he is working towards accomplishing this project for the pleasure of their lordships, Shri Radha Madhava and Radha Shyamasundar. We all know that we have a desperate need to have our kitchen, our community hall, our children's classrooms. These are all essential things for this center. And today, I'm not sure how many of you know that we have an honorary committee, Radha Shyamasundar committee, where these are prominent citizens of Naperville and surrounding areas who have come together to help us in serving this cause. In fact, His Grace John Naperville from ISKCON Chicago also was here for our meeting today. Very productive meeting. We have Dr. Ramgupta sitting here, who's a full-time supporter. Wholeheartedly, he stands with us in making this temple happen. And like that, there are Dr. Gupta's daughter was here today, and so many other prominent personalities like Mr. Krishna Benza, so many other people were there in the meeting. And we had very productive discussion, and there is a clear-cut plan going forward, what we are going to do, how we are going to approach this project, within what time frame we are planning to get this done. So you will be getting all that information. We have put together many programs that will be temple-based programs that will be outside, extended, reaching out into the community. There are various types of programs, and you will see a comprehensive list of all of that being displayed in the temple. We will be making a very good effort to display. We are like very poor in displaying things. The only thing that you see right now is the Vitla Brick program, which is very good, but we will see more information, everything put together in one place. And we humbly request all of you, each and every one of you, to make it really happen. Take it as your project. These temples are not built by the effort of one person like Shyam Prabhu struggling there. No, it is all of you, each and every one of you need to stand with us, and we need to see that enthusiasm. We want to see, make it happen. So I'm just giving a very quick update. If you need additional information, you can always talk with Shyam Prabhu. There is Sumangala Mataji and so many others here. So you can talk with them and get additional information if you like to. We want all of you to come together and participate, because the whole, the whole, this building temple, it is not like a, it's not happening every year. It's like this year, this is the year we are really going to go full force, which means when everybody put their shoulder in it together and go full steam, Krishna is going to reciprocate. But if everybody sit back and think like, okay, somebody else in that other corner is going to do this job, that's not it. The fun of it is really being part of the show. And we are very fortunate we have this project here in Naperville, and ISKCON Chicago is standing behind us. So we all need to stand with this project and give our full energy and enthusiasm, because this is the time to do this. So we look forward for your continued support effort in every possible way. Thank you again for your patience. So today's Sunday feast is sponsored by 3 different families. There is the Parikshit and Jasmine Bajaj. They are celebrating their wedding anniversary, and they are also celebrating the birthday of their nephew Aryan. And I think this family has been celebrating their wedding anniversary here for the past couple of consecutive years. Am I right? Yes, ma'am. Right?
Yes.
How many years? 7 years. Thank you so very, very much. You are doing. Yes. So, can you please come and receive this prasadam? And I think their friends are here. Your friends are here today? Yes. Thank you so very much for inviting everybody. And we will say our prayers in the end. And thank you again. And may Krishna bless you and your family in your progressive journey towards His lotus feet. And it's a really most wonderful thing to do, is to be in Krishna Prasadam on the day of your wedding anniversary. It's a great experience. And similarly, we have Tripti Singh, who is the wife of one of our architects, Manindra, who has patiently worked with us for the past few years. And Tripti's son, Krisha's 4th birthday. 4th birthday, I cannot even believe it, because that child appeared to have been born like yesterday to me. Is he here? Tripti is here? No, they are gone. Okay. Anyway, this is one of our architects' son. And then we have our Anjika. Anjika has been part of our summer and winter camps for the past few years. Akansha and Amit Shukla, they have been regularly coming to this temple for quite some time. We are celebrating daughter Anjika's 12th birthday. This very special girl. She's a very super special girl. Thank you. So that's the best thing anybody can do, celebrate birthday distributing Krishna Prasadam. And her mom was telling me that she's a great, how do I say this? She's one of those bright and talented girls who is beyond her age. And I think they are really cutting short a little bit of their extracurricular activities to make it possible for her to be able to be here in the temple. We look forward to seeing her more. And for the spiritual well-being of all these families and their continued progressive journey towards the lotus feet of their lordships, Shri Radha Madhava, let us chant the Maha Mantra. Please repeat after me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So on all your various occasions in your life, whether it is marriage anniversary or whether it is children's birthday, you can always distribute Krishna Prasadam. That is one way of celebrating, which is very pleasing to the Supreme Lord. So anybody interested in doing this, please contact Shyam Prabhu. Abhay is not here. Yeah. And anything else?
No, I think we have the guests, so congregation let guests go for.
Yeah, I think because of Parikshit and Jasmine celebrating their marriage anniversary, they have invited guests, and we want to welcome each and every one of you. If any one of you are new here for the first time, you want to know anything at all about our temple project, please talk with Shyam Prabhu, and you all can first go to with Sumangala Mataji downstairs. You can first go down. Parikshit, you can take your guests. You can take them first downstairs, and others, you are all always here. So please be kind to our guests, and thank you very, very much. Prasadam is served downstairs. Thank you. Hare Krishna.